Voracity. The path of Big Back, the path of infinity. One of the oldest known aeons and also the most unknown. Which tells me that Hoyo is hiding something. Because we've been teased with this path time and time again, with Ligas saying that he wants to voraciously consume knowledge.
I will become the most loyal reader of the epics. A spectator voraciously consuming the valorous deeds of you heroes.
Or Evernight's design, having teeth mark looking patterns on her arms and on her parasol, with of course the added bonus of her, I don't know, eating Amphoreus. Still don't really know why she did that. But anyway, we as lore enthusiasts have been teased about this path for far too long, and today I'm here to expose this path for something that has been burning a hole in my brain for far too long. In the last video, I put on the serious mask to reflect the seriousness of the tragedy that is Sparksy's existence. And today I'll be returning to my usual style. Because in this video, I will be exposing the secrets of the Voracity through its influence of the universe itself. So strap in, because things are about to get spicy. Because this is the true nature of the Voracity explained. Okay, so as we know, the name of the Aeon of Voracity is none other than Ouroboros. But what is an Ouroboros? Well, put simply, it is the symbol of a snake or a dragon eating its own tail. And this symbolizes infinity. The start feeds into the end, and the end wraps around into the start, and this is just like the origin leading into finality, and the end into the new beginning, and so forth. So the symbol of an Ouroboros is synonymous with an infinite loop. And this is something I want you to keep in mind going forward, because everything hinges on this. We also know that a mad scientist woman by the name of Mobius is a flame chaser who is also known as Infinite Ouroboros. So we know that when Hoyo refers to Ouroboros, we know exactly what they are getting at. The concept of infinity in an infinite loop. And this is easily represented by the Voracity's infinite appetite. Never satisfied and always looking to consume more of the cosmos. But what if I told you that this isn't all that the Voracity is? Sure, it's fun to say, oh, Voracity is just about eating things, big back lifestyle, but of course it's not that simple. Because nothing in Honkai Star Rail is truly simple. Because when you look at the concept of infinity and then look at the Voracity's influence on the universe through this lens, you find that nearly everything in the universe is Voracity. Nearly every single Aeon reflects the path of Voracity. And this bothers me because I don't know what this means, so allow me to present my findings. So let's start off with the easy connection. The permanence. I've already said before that dragons and leviathans are often referred to as the same creature, and Long does make an Ouroboros in the Myriad Celestia. So why does Long do this? Well, the permanence does have many aspects of infinity about it, almost as if it's the same path. Something permanent has to also be infinite in some way if that thing is alive. To be permanently alive and permanently around means to permanently stay alive, and in order for that to happen, infinity has to occur in some way, shape, form, or fashion. This is why that when Long makes an Ouroboros, it creates an egg, symbolizing that when Vidyadhara pass away, they return to eggs and then rehatch as different people, making their lives and existences theoretically infinite and permanent at the same time. Thus, the connection to the Voracity is unnervingly close, while at the same time having nothing to do with the consumption of the cosmos. And I really wish that it stopped there, but it doesn't, because now we have to look at the Aeons that reflect Voracity's infinity in less practical ways, which leads us to Fu Li and Terminus, two Aeons based off of Buddhism that really go hand in hand. One saves the universe by resetting it, and the other one goes back in time to tell people about the future, which is technically their past, respectively. And both of these Aeons reflect the Voracity in the same exact mind-shattering way. How? Well, Fu Li is an active Aeon that does not exist yet, because they haven't ascended yet, but they are very much able to interact with the universe. How they do this is that in the moment they do ascend, they reflect their existence into the past, then recreate the universe with memories. And this reflection of Fu Li can gaze upon people, turn their followers into memo keepers, and create children of Anasarva by solidifying and shattering. And these children of Fu Li are emanators that all have the potential to ascend into Fu Li in the future. So in essence, Fu Li causes their own ascension. This is called a bootstrap paradox, a situation where an entity or an object has no origin. because Fuli never not existed and caused their own ascension. And this is infinity. It is an infinite samsara time loop of ascension, reflection, and multipolar mitosis where Fuli splits into multiple different people. It really doesn't get more infinite than a bootstrap paradox where an Aeon pulls themselves up by their own bootstraps. And the crazy part kicks in when you realize that Terminus does the exact same thing. They travel backwards through time, infinitely giving prophecies of the future. And the way they do this is by splitting into cats and then eventually ascending once more, as Dahlia says. So another Aeon that splits themselves into multiple living entities and then goes back in time, causing their own ascension. This is another infinite loop and another bootstrap paradox, and yet again, Voracity by infinity. See the pattern here? Aeons kinda just loop back on themselves in some way, and the Aeon whose name is infinity has to be the culprit. But of course, I have more, because time loops and infinite life are far from the only ways infinity is represented. Because here is where things get complicated. Because now it's erudition time. Yes, there is something infinite about Nous, and no, it's not infinite knowledge. Let me explain. Humanity created Nous. Then humanity proceeded to learn from Nous until Nous had learned enough from self-extrapolation and proceeded to look back at humanity to learn from humans, which created the Genius Society. So now we have an infinite loop of people learning from Nous as Nous learns from them, which is presented perfectly with Herta staring at Nous as Nous gazes at her. That is how erudition is a snake eating its own tail and somehow progressing in that way. Because Nous doesn't think of everything and can't learn everything through self-extrapolation. We learn this from the self-enshrouded recluse relic set and Xandar's backstory. The reason why Nous gazes at people is to learn things it doesn't already know and to help it learn more. So people look at Nous and Nous looks back, creating an Ouroboros infinite loop of learning. So as you can see, there are many roads that lead to Voracity. But I've got a few more examples, one of which is way easier to understand, so let's talk about that first. Lan and Yaoshi. Infinite never-ending hunt and never-ending healing and proliferation of life. In a previous video, I said that they counter each other due to equilibrium, and while I don't think that is wrong in the slightest, we do have to acknowledge the fact that this is also an infinite loop of war and conflict that will never end. So instead of one Aeon having ties to Voracity, we have two Aeons locked in a conflict that reflects Voracity that way. And this aspect of infinity goes so far, because Yaoshi spawned Lan. The Xianzhou people are former abundance followers that gained immortality, didn't like it, and now use said immortality to strike back at Yaoshi. And during one of these battles, Lan ascended from the Xianzhou Jumi, so Yaoshi has created their own rival. But this goes even further because Lan did this too, because Sanctus Medicus, the abundance faction on the Xianzhou, keep having resurgences because Lan keeps nuking their own followers, creating people that hate Lan on the Xianzhou. So not only did Yaoshi create their own worst enemy in Lan, but Lan did the same thing, biting themselves in the butt also. And on top of all of this, these two Aeons fight each other endlessly and never get anywhere. The Ouroboros is strong with these two. And don't even get me started on Xipe's infinite expansion and their song and their infinitely expanding family, and Tazeron's infinite replication in the exact same way. I'm telling you, it's nearly every single Aeon at this point. Everything has something infinite going on, and then we have Aeons like Aha and IX, where one hungers for infinite entertainment and the other one kinda just also infinitely consumes the cosmos, as they are a black hole. Heck, we could even stretch this to Akavili's infinitely traveling express that gets fuel from going to new places and doing what it's designed to do. Every Aeon really is just kind of Voracity in their own way. And the strangest one is Nanook, because I already made a theory that has since been confirmed that Nanook is in control of entropy and negentropy. They destroy things, but their blood has the potential to heal to the point of bringing things back to life. And the reason why Nanook is bleeding in only a top half instead of a full body like every other humanoid Aeon is because they are in conflict with themselves. The entropy is fighting the negentropy, and Nanook can't figure out which one they want to win. They kill their emanators, but then resurrect them and patch up their deficiencies. They want to blow up the universe, but only has a problem with said universe because it's tainted. And what taints the universe is war. but we'll get to that later. This Aeon is confused and really doesn't know what they want to do about it. So as of right now, they do both. They heal and harm with both sides of Nanook in conflict with each other, creating an infinite loop of eternal conflict just like Lan and Yaoshi, only Nanook is their own worst enemy. Especially if you think of what taints the universe as war, because that's what spawned Nanook in the first place, the Swarm Disaster and Rupert's Wars. Because Nanook started the war to end all wars against every other Aeon and once again became what they hate for the sake of purging. They hate what taints the universe, but also want to heal the universe, so they purge the universe, but in purging the universe, they only taint it further. So it's an infinite loop of just wrong. So yes, Ouroboros has ties to just about every single Aeon we know about, without us really knowing anything about Ouroboros themselves, besides them being a Leviathan, of course. And it really gets on my nerves. Just like Ho-Oh the Equilibrium has a stranglehold on the cosmos itself by forcing everything to be equal and splitting concepts apart so they can fight each other, Ouroboros, who is noted to be one of the first Aeons to ascend, has thrown their hat in the ring to make everything loop back on itself. Almost like by the time these later Aeons ascended, Ho-Oh and Ouroboros had already left their mark on the cosmos. Something is off here, and everything is pointing towards the Voracity, the path that we know the least about. This Aeon is more than we thought it was, and their reach is unlike anything we have ever seen. Yet this Aeon is missing, and perhaps this Aeon is the one that Ashvale is looking for. I haven't seen the special program yet, so I don't know. But I have. Update, Ashvale is definitely a Voracity-coded Galaxy Ranger. I mean, you can just tell from the names of his abilities and what he says.
This old wolf hasn't lost his fangs.
But I can't tell what this all means yet. He is a Hunt Path character though, so heavy potential for the undercover Galaxy Ranger La Mancha Ashvale theory actually being true, since he is a self-proclaimed old wolf. But is he the broken-legged wolf? I can't be too sure. But what I do know is that he is hunting a missing Aeon. An Aeon that I think is Ouroboros. I don't know, but I do have a sinking feeling that this is the true nature of the Voracity explained. The Voracity, just like the subject of Sampo Koski, has always been a popular path to theorize about, and up until now I've been radio silent on it, but now after looking at the Voracity through the concept of infinity instead of eating things, everything opens up, and we can see that we are being too small-minded about the scale of what Ouroboros has going on. They are the Aeon of infinity, not just infinite consumption. Anything that goes on forever or loops back on itself has to be under the influence of Ouroboros in some way. There is no possible way that Ouroboros isn't in control of all things Ouroboros. But the question still remains, is this truly infinite? How far does this all go? And the only way to find out is to dive into the belly of the beast. That I hope we get to do very soon. But what do you guys think? Be sure to let me know, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace, y'all.